Taking spot number 10 on our countdown list is Gilbert Gottfried. If you've ever wondered if a tweet would be enough to end your entire Hollywood career, the answer is yes. Back in 2011, the comedian decided to send out some tweets that only he thought was funny. It was following the tragic tsunami that happened in Japan and took the lives of over 15,000 people. In the midst of it, he tweeted out a handful of insensitive jokes about it. Some of them are just a bit too risky to say here on YouTube, but one of them said, I will quote it, "I just split up with my girlfriend, but like the Japanese say, there'll be another one floating by any minute now." At the time, he was the voice of Affleck Duck and they fired him immediately, which is not shocking. He issued an apology immediately after seeing the damage he had done, but he was instantly blacklisted from Hollywood. He now does Cameo, if you're wondering what he's up to these days, and he even has a podcast that many people didn't even know about. Moving on to number 9, we have Danny Mathers. She is known for starring on TV series like The Bold and the Beautiful and Badass, but she's mainly known for her work as a Playboy model. Unfortunately, both sides to her career came to an end after she did something very petty and disrespectful online, and then got a taste of instant karma. Back in 2016, she posted an image on her social media of a naked 70-year-old woman at the gym and captioned it, "If I can't unsee this, then you can't either." She immediately got backlash from her post because it was extremely rude and also very invasive since the woman did not give her consent to take her nude photo and then post it. Her post resulted in her facing criminal charges, and she also got fired from her radio show and banned from all the LA fitness gyms across the US. In 2017, she faced the court and pleaded no contest to a charge of invasion of privacy. She was also charged $1,000 and was ordered to spend a month doing community service of removing graffiti around Los Angeles. Moving on to number 8 is Lance Armstrong. While he will always be known for his success as the greatest cyclist of all time, he will also be known as an athlete who lost everything due to a doping scandal. For many years, he was supported and admired for being an incredible athlete and also a cancer survivor who inspired others. Which is why it was so shocking to fans when the US Anti-Doping Agency announced that he was running the biggest doping program the sport has ever seen. Their statement read, "He ran the most sophisticated, professionalized, and successful doping program the sport has ever seen." He later ended up admitting during an interview with Oprah that he had been taking the substance, which of course is a huge no-no in sports. He was stripped from his cycling titles and dropped by all of his sponsors, including Nike Inc. and Livestrong. On top of that, he was banned from professional cycling races altogether. He ended up reaching a $5 million settlement with the government, but his career has just never been the same since. In 2020, a documentary called Lance came out on Netflix, and it does a deep dive on his career and the whole scandal. So, if you want to know the deets, go watch. In spot number 7, we have Chrissy Teigen. In recent months, she has been in the biggest scandal of her career after being accused of online bullying. It all started when Courtney Stodden accused her of bullying for years on Twitter, and then even shared screenshots of private messages and tweets of Chrissy saying very rude and inappropriate things. Some of the tweets are so bad, she was actually wishing death upon her and told her to take her own life. The tweets are from the past, but people were shocked to see them and couldn't believe that she would ever behave like that. Chrissy had to step down from her role in Never Have I Ever Season 2, where she was supposed to be the voiceover role. It was later announced that she was actually replaced with Gigi Hadid. After seeing the backlash, she publicly apologized to her fans and also Courtney, taking full responsibility for what she did. But it seems like that hasn't been enough, and even she admitted to paparazzi very recently that she could be cancelled forever. She doesn't know yet. Making her way into number 6, we have Paula Deen. For many years, she was the face of the Food Network, but then a lawsuit took the title away from her and her career collapsed in front of her. The chaos all started when another celebrity chef, Lisa Jackson, accused her of racial discrimination, claiming that she used the N-word when talking about African Americans. Lisa was actually her former general manager, so it was crazy to see someone who was once very close to her turn against her and then reveal the truth. When Paula was asked if she has ever used the N-word, her response was this, I quote, Yes, of course, it's just what they are. They're jokes. Most jokes are about Jewish people, rednecks, black folks. I can't determine what offends another person. This was not the answer people were hoping for. I think most people expected an apology maybe, or for her to admit how disrespectful and wrong it was. But no, apparently it's jokes. Fox News then obtained quotes that she has said over her career where she made a variety of comments that a lot of people would find offensive. Immediately, networks canceled her TV programs worldwide and she has had to go to court to defend her case. We have made it halfway through this list, and at number 5 we have Jussie Smollett. His scandal took the world by storm in 2019 and is still ongoing to this day. On January 29, 2019, news articles surfaced saying that he was in the hospital after being attacked by 2 men who allegedly put a rope around his neck, beat him, and then poured chemicals on him. The reports claimed that the attackers were yelling racial and homophobic slurs, so it was being treated as a hate crime. The media and his fans came together online to support him through what seemed to be this horrific incident. The 2 suspects were arrested, but in court, they revealed that it was actually all set up by Jussie and showed a check that he paid them to stage the entire thing. On February 21st, he was arrested on suspicion of filing a false police report and was charged with 6 counts of lying to police, all of which he pleaded not guilty to. But prosecutors ended up dropping the charges, which the Chicago police were not happy with, and they argued that the actor got off scot-free. In more recent times, an investigator has been hired since then to further investigate and prosecute him, so the scandal is still not over. Rolling into spot number 4 is Tila Tequila. I have not heard of her in a long time. At one point in time though, you could find her everywhere, starring on her own reality show A Shot at Love with Tila Tequila, which ran for 2 successful seasons. I watched some of it. She got tons of attention on social media, but it started getting very negative when she started posting some very offensive things. One of them pushed her career over the edge in 2013 when she started praising Adolf and posted a rant titled, "Why I Sympathize with." If you think that's bad, it got even worse in 2016 when she and her friends posed for a photo saluting like a. Her Twitter account was suspended shortly after, and she was removed from the reality show Celebrity Big Brother. She was pretty much blacklisted in Hollywood at that point, and no one wanted to work with her for the sake of their careers. She is now a married mother of 2 and has a YouTube channel, which is also filled with very controversial and strange videos. Taking over our 3rd spot is Armie Hammer. 2020 was a rough year for the actor's career after some disturbing claims came out from his former girlfriends. The claims said that he was a cannibal and that he would take his disturbing BDSM fantasies too far in their intimate relationship. His one ex, Paige Lorenz, claimed he would tie her up, use a paddle, and leave her with bruises, bite her to a point of breaking the skin, and even carved his initials into her body during a kinky game. She described the situation as 50 Shades of Grey, but without the love. Since the claims came out, his career has taken a huge hit. He was dropped from Billion Dollar Spy, and his reputation has just been severely damaged. An investigation by the LAPD was filed against him after allegations said he had sexually assaulted some women in his past. In June of 2021, just last month, he checked himself into a treatment program, and sources say it is because he could not handle everything that has been going on. Sources say he checked into an inpatient facility for substance, alcohol, and sex issues. In our number 2 spot is Roseanne Barr. Another time that tweets ruin someone's career. I think we can all learn something from this. Maybe think before you tweet. The actress and comedian was once on top of the world with her own ABC show called Roseanne, but that all ended in May 2018. She sent out some racist tweets referring to Valerie Jarrett, who was the senior advisor to the former president Barack Obama. In her tweet, she compared Valerie to a cross between the Muslim Brotherhood and the movie Planet of the Apes. People were immediately furious and disgusted with her words, and no one thought it was funny even though she was claiming that it was a joke. After seeing the backlash she was getting, she deleted the tweet and apologized, but ABC had already canceled her show, which was actually supposed to air that day. In interviews after that, when talking about the controversy, she still laughs it off and continues to say that it was a joke. We are at number 1 and we have Chris Brown. The singer forever changed his reputation and career back in 2009 when he faced felony charges. It's honestly hard to forget the horrible altercation that happened between he and his then girlfriend Rihanna when he was charged with felony assault. Photos surfaced at the time showing Rihanna's face all battered and bruised. He ended up pleading guilty to the charges and was sentenced to serve 5 years probation and 1,400 hours of community service. After the incident, he was very open and honest in interviews and actually admitted to punching her in the face, calling himself a monster. His career has never been the same since, but Rihanna ended up forgiving him. She originally had a restraining order against him, of course, but she later dropped that and said that the two of them are still very close friends. Beginning the countdown list at number 10 is Tekashi 6ix9ine. His real name is Daniel Hernandez, but the world knows him for his rapper name Tekashi or Tekashi 6ix9ine. He rose to fame over the past few years and captured America's attention with an escalating series of controversial behavior. Not to mention his forehead's 69 tattoo. It was pretty quick to grab our attention. He sparks outrage basically wherever he goes, yet somehow he is adored by millions of people at the same time. His Gummo music video played a big part in the deplete of his music career. The video went viral and hit platinum in just a few months, but its popularity is what uncovered a lot about his life before fame, which included a guilty plea for child sex charges. The case quickly got exposed to the public eye and it was all over from there. Just 12 months later, after he shot the music video, he was in jail facing 32 years to life on charges that included armed robbery and attempted murder. How? Turns out he was linked to gangs. Through his time in court, more of his past came to light. As of this month, December 2019, he was awaiting a sentence for 6 charges that include conspiracy to commit murder, armed robbery, racketeering, and possession of a rifle. It was looking like he was unlikely to walk free from all of this, and they were saying that he could have served 1 to 37 years in prison. However, literally yesterday he was sentenced and he walked away with just a 2-year sentencing. Up next, number 9 is Felicity Huffman. The Desperate Housewives star was involved in a serious scandal earlier this year that led to her being arrested at her home. The actress was caught being involved with a college admission scam. She was accused of paying $15,000 to William Rick Singer's fake charity to help her oldest daughter Sophia cheat on the SAT, which showed that she did score 400 points higher the second time she wrote it. Cheater, cheater, pumpkin eater. Paperwork also shows that Felicity was making arrangements to pursue the scheme for a second time for her younger daughter, but decided to back out. She was arrested at gunpoint at her Los Angeles home and was later released on a $250,000 bond. She received tons of backlash ever since the scam was exposed, leading her to completely deactivating her social media accounts. She and her husband, William H. Macy, both pleaded guilty and served 11 days in federal prison. The family did get some good news though, and her youngest daughter, who wasn't involved in the scam, was accepted to Vassar College, so they are happy that she won't be negatively affected by their mistakes. Sliding into number 8 spot is James Charles. You have to be your own judge for this one on whether you think his career is truly over or not. Obviously, he is still a YouTuber, but his career took a massive hit earlier this year after he was exposed by a fellow YouTuber, Tati Westbrook. The 19-year-old YouTube star lost more than 2.5 million subscribers, and people were saying horrible things about him online, even filming videos of them destroying his makeup palettes. It all started after Tati posted a 43-minute video where she described all the things she did for him throughout his career and how he backstabbed her by promoting another beauty company instead of hers. More than 530,000 people hit the unsubscribe button on his page on the day that her video was posted. She also got really personal and began telling stories of which James apparently preyed on straight men and tried to convince straight men to be sexual with him. Accusations started coming out of people accusing him of doing so and also making claims that he is sexually manipulative in order to get what he wants. James did end up responding with a video of his own, but people did not react well to it. Like other scandals in Hollywood, it did end up blowing over in some time and the drama kind of fizzled out, but a lot of people don't look at him the same. He was also unfollowed on social media by a lot of celebrities, some that included Kylie Jenner, Kim K, Miley Cyrus, Shawn Mendes, and Katy Perry, who once partnered with him for CoverGirl. Not looking too good. Cruising into number 7 spot is Jordyn Woods. You would only know her because of the Kardashian and Jenner sisters, and I am not throwing throwing shade, I'm just stating that as a fact. Jordan was Kylie Jenner's best friend, and they even lived together at some point. It was safe to say that she was pretty much like a sister to Kylie and the rest of the Kardashian girls. Fans got to know Jordan through their reality show Keeping Up with the Kardashians, and from there she's been able to build her own career. But all went downhill for her earlier this year when articles started surfacing saying that Jordan was making out with Khloe's man and baby daddy Tristan Thompson. Now, he's been busted for cheating already, so that part wasn't all that surprising to us, but Jordan was like a sister to Khloe, so that was some serious broken girl code. The girls all started tweeting out their feelings, emotions, and their side of the story. It was just a hot mess. Turns out she actually partied with him that night and spent the night at his house. The entire Kardashian family unfollowed Jordan on social media and completely cut her off, and she moved out of Kylie's house. And at number 6 is R. Kelly. For more than 2 decades, the R&B singer has faced allegations of sexual abuse. It's actually kind of surprising to see that he's been able to have such a successful career still throughout all of that. But in 2018, news stories started coming forward accusing him of sexual assault, and claims were made that he had preyed on younger women. But this year in 2019, he was officially charged after an old documentary of his life showed that he had been with a girl he knew was underage. Because in the video, he states her age and then apparently just forgot that he ever did that. She was an artist that he was producing for, and there was a behind the scenes footage of her recording at his studio, and he walks in the room and announces her name and age, and she was like 14. He was charged with 13 counts of aggravated criminal sexual abuse and 2 separate federal indictments for sex trafficking, all of which he has pleaded not guilty to, although you've literally been caught. As of now, he is currently sitting in jail, and it was announced in October that he will not get bail. He will be behind bars until his trial in 2020. Having through the list, number 5 is the teen mom star Janelle Evans. She has shared her journey as a mom on MTV ever since she got pregnant at 16 and appeared on their show 16 and Pregnant. For many years, fans adored her and loved watching her story, even though it was filled with a lot of chaos and controversy. I mean, maybe that is why they liked her story. She has been one of the leading ladies on Teen Mom 2 until she was fired from the show earlier this year. It all went downhill after her husband David shot and killed their French bulldog and then openly admitted it on his Instagram. He was the first one fired from the show back in 2018 after making inappropriate remarks about the gay community. So, basically, he's a pretty stand-up guy, to say the least. But Janelle defended her husband and was threatening production that if they didn't allow her husband to film, then she would leave the show, which we saw in one of the episodes. But in May 2019, MTV released a statement saying, MTV ended its relationship with David Eason over a year ago in February 2018 and has not filmed any new episodes of Teen Mom 2 with him since. Additionally, we have stopped filming with Janelle Eason as of April 6, 2019 and have no plans to cover her story in the upcoming season. And I am watching the new season, and they did replace her. Since then, we haven't really seen much of her, but she recently announced that she is no longer with David, which is probably the best choice there, girlfriend. Alright guys, coming in at number 4 is Kevin Hunter. He is a prime example of do not piss off your wife, especially if she is your boss. Kevin is married to Wendy Williams, the leading lady and creator of The Wendy Williams Show. He worked alongside his wife for years as both an executive producer and also her manager, but was fired in April 2019 after it surfaced that he had cheated on her. But this wasn't just some drunken night mistake. He was in a full-blown relationship with another woman named Sharina Hudson for 15 years. And turns out the two of them even had a kid together. Wendy spoke on it when it made headlines, and she said, "Look, my husband had a full baby with a woman he was involved with for 15 years, where I was cooped up only to be a show pony." So needless to say, he lost his job and a decent reputation. But the two of them share their own son together and still have what Wendy calls a friendship. I will be damned if that ever happens to me. Get your ass off my show. In our third spot is Amber Portwood, another MTV star who appeared on 16 and Pregnant and then Teen Mom OG. She was one of the 4 girls that actually helped create the original Teen Mom series, and from the start her career was always pretty rocky. Throughout the series we saw her in and out of jail after struggling with drugs, alcohol, and also facing physical assault charges. But most recently in July 2019 she made news headlines after her boyfriend James of 2 years and father of her toddler filed a police report that she had attacked him with a machete and also assaulted him. Audio footage was released of a statement from court where he shared different stories of abuse he faced from her and also revealed that the night of the attack, he was holding their toddler in his arms. She was charged with domestic violence committed in the presence of a child less than 16 years old, as well as intimidation. It was actually upped to a felony charge because of her previous charges for domestic violence and battery. She ended up pleading guilty to the felony intimidation charge in exchange for the other charges to be dismissed. dismissed. I didn't even know you could do that. I didn't know it was a bargain. Amber ended up taking a plea deal and will not spend time behind bars if she meets all the requirements and passes all her drug tests. However, she will be on probation for 906 days. Moving on to number 2, we have Jussie Smollett. He's mainly known for his role of Jamal on the TV series Empire. His career was in the best shape of his life until a story broke the news on January 29th, 2019, saying he was in the hospital after being attacked by 2 men. The story claimed that the attackers were yelling out racial and homophobic slurs and poured a chemical substance on him before beating him. His fans and the rest of Hollywood teamed up together and began titling the attack as a hate crime. The 2 suspects in the case were both arrested and charged, but the truth all came out when it went to court. The men ended up telling the court that Jussie paid them to stage the entire thing. They even had the $3,500 signed check as evidence. On February 21st, Jussie was arrested on suspicion of filing a false police report. Under Illinois' law, doing that is considered a Class 4 felony and could lead to 1 to 3 years in prison with a judge-set bond of $100,000. They also ordered him to surrender his passport. The producers of Empire cut his character from the final 2 episodes of the current season, and they said that they were evaluating all the options for the future. Luckily for Jussie, prosecutors have now dropped all the charges against him, which is actually really annoying to me because I feel like his celebrity status got him out of that one somehow. But people don't forget, and both his career and reputation will probably never be the same as it was before. Hopefully. Earning the number 1 spot on our list is Allison Mack, who is famously known for her role in the CW series Smallville. The actress lost everything when allegations came out that she was involved with a group called NXIVM, which is a company in New York labeled as a pyramid scheme, a sex trafficking operation, and a sex cult. The group would force its female followers to have sex with their leader, Keith Raniere, and get branded with his initials. Pictures have been revealed of the branding initials where you see an RK, but if you turn it sideways, you can also see the letters make an A. People from the group have said that Allison Mack was Raniere's personal slave and was one of the top members who organized the illegal sex schemes. Her entire career shattered after she pleaded guilty to racketeering conspiracy and her alleged role in a sex trafficking case. As part of her guilty plea, Mack admitted to state law extortion and forced labor. After her initial arrest, she was released on a $5 million bond. She was supposed to be sentenced on September 11th of this year, but the dates were adjourned to allow time to complete some pre-sentencing reports, so we are still waiting for a further update. She could face up to 40 years in prison. Starting off our list at number 10 is Katherine Heigl. We gotta be honest here and say there's probably a few interviews that affected her career, but one back in 2008 pretty much landed her on Hollywood's blacklist. She took the lead in the 2006 movie Knocked Up, and the movie, as well as her performance, was well received. Apparently not by the actress herself though, who opened up about how she felt about the movie later on in 2008. In the January issue of Vanity Fair, she said the movie was, I quote, a little sexist. It paints women as shrews, as humorless and uptight, and it paints the men as lovable, goofy, fun-loving guys. It exaggerated the characters, and I had a hard time with it some days. Why is this how you're portraying women? This interview alone was enough for people in Hollywood to turn away from wanting to work with her, but it was sealed when she did another interview in 2008 where she dissed the writing in her show Grey's Anatomy. The actress has to figure out a way to either keep her mouth shut or just choose her words wisely.
I'm not a rude person. I'm not an unkind or mean person. I would never go out of my way or consciously try to hurt anyone's feelings or make them feel bad or uncomfortable or not be professional and do my job. I like my job.
And at number 9 is Paula Abdul. Back in January 2007, the American Idol judge did an interview that went viral instantly. Throughout the video, which happened to be filmed, she slurred her words, wobbled, swayed, and spoke a bunch of nonsense, basically. News anchors from Q13 Fox News Live streamed Paula from New York to do a live interview with her, but because of how she was acting, they thought there was some sort of connection issue.
Oh, I don't know if she can hear us right now.
They kept saying there must be a problem and that she can't hear them properly, but that wasn't really the case at all. Even when she did respond to their questions, she was acting like she was highly intoxicated. She was closing her eyes, slurring her words, just acting kind of all manic and weird. Later, she tried to explain, saying there was a connection error at first, and they had a station from Alabama in her ear along with the Fox News at the same time. But once they fixed it, she blamed the rest of the erratic behavior on just being tired. She She said, fatigue and exhaustion just added to the whole thing, looking so disoriented. But no alcohol and no drugs. Absolutely no. The interview had a huge effect on her career. 2 years later, she wasn't able to land another contract with American Idol. The world didn't see much of her for years until she snagged a judging role on So You Think You Can Dance. However, her career just hasn't been the same ever since. Sliding into the number 8 spot on our list is 5 Seconds of Summer. Back in 2015, the band managed to alienate both their fans and a lot of fellow artists and celebrities in just one interview. And since then, the world hasn't heard much of them since. In December 2015, their interview with Rolling Stone left people really pissed off. Michael Clifford, who admitted during the interview that he was hungover, bashed the American Music Awards, which they performed at the night before. He said the show was compromised and had, I quote, a lot of fake people. He also called out Justin Bieber and said he thinks he hates them, for no apparent reason at all. Luke Hemmings from the band left fans and parents feeling disgusted after saying, when you put 4 young dudes on a tour bus playing theaters and arenas, you're going to have sex with a lot of girls, I guess. We had a good time. The interviewer awkwardly joked back, asking if they slept with multiple girls in one night or at the same time, and he responded with, I feel like I shouldn't say. You can say the possibility of that is high. People were pretty repulsed by their interview, and things just haven't been the same for their stardom since that day. Next up at number 7 is R. Kelly. He did some major damage for his career back in 2008 when he made comments about being with underage girls. But this interview came after he went to trial for being accused of child pornography. Kelly was accused of making a 27-minute sex tape with an underage female, but after going to trial, the jury declared him not guilty on all 14 counts. People were all feeling some type of way about him, some believed him and some didn't. But his interview after the trial didn't help paint a very good self-portrait. During an interview with BET, he was straight up asked, do you like teenage girls? After everything that went on with court, you would think his response would be an immediate no. However, he responded by saying, when you say teenage, how young are we talking? He went on to say that he has some 19-year-old female friends, but none that are technically illegal. After the interview was aired on BET, Kelly's team saw it and demanded that it never be shown again. It was already too late though, the damage had already been done.
This is not me, y'all. I'm fighting for my life. Y'all killing me with this. I gave y'all 30 years of my.
And at number 6 is Miles Teller. The actor had a promising career, especially after his role in Whiplash back in 2014. But it was after an interview in 2015 where his career took a hit and began to stall. In August 2015, he did an interview with Esquire, and he thought it would be appropriate to tell the female writer and their waitress that the bar glass was modeled after his private parts. He obviously used a much more vulgar term, but I'm definitely not going to repeat it. He was pretty sassy too, trying to demand the writer to cut his meat for him when their food came. The interview didn't paint the actor in a very positive light and says that things were changed around. After receiving tons of backlash from it, he told Vulture, I quote, if how that story made me look was how I really was, I'd think I was the biggest douchebag too. I know who I am, and it's not who I was in that story. Since then, he hasn't been able to book movies like he used to and has only about 6 credits to his IMDb in the last 4 years. Some of you might not even heard of any of them. Halfway through the list at number 5 is the Chainsmokers, another time when a band tried a little too hard to be edgy and just came off as super lame instead. Back in 2016, Billboard did a cover story on the band where they said things that people weren't too thrilled about. Andrew Taggart told the magazine, I quote, we rage every night. My mom's going to hate reading that, but she already knows. But his DJ partner Alex Pal said that they were pros, saying, but you'll never see us getting carried out of a club. We're way too good at drinking. Both band members continued on with the interview and thought it was appropriate to bring up their groupies, even though they both had live-in girlfriends at the time. Alex said even before Success was number 1. And then Andrew chimed in saying, like, why am I trying to make all this money? I wanted to hook up with hotter girls. I had to date a model. We're just frat bro dudes, you know what I mean? Loving ladies and stuff. And drum roll please for the worst part of the entire interview, the boys also revealed the size of their private, saying that they measured from tip to tip. Classy. Here we are at number 4 with Gary Coleman. The actor sadly passed away at just 42 years old, so this is in no way to disrespect him, but to share what happened leading up to his very controversial death. The actor always had medical issues, but often didn't like to speak on them. On May 26, 2010, the actor fell down the stairs while at home with his wife and had to go to the hospital after cracking his head. He was treated, but the next day he went unconscious and landed on life support, where he died on May 28th. People were suspicious as to what actually happened, and rumors began to fly saying that his wife had actually pushed him down the stairs. Now, the only reason that they thought this was because they went to court after she accused him of physically abusing her. The couple was always known for their altercations, and even even appeared on the show Divorce Court. This is what led to Gary having an interview that impacted his career in a very negative way. One of the female hosts on The Insider asked him if he abuses his wife, and when he wouldn't flat out deny it, she begins to question if it's true or not, and that's basically when he lost it. He ended up saying to her, I quote, "Go F yourself. I don't know you, I don't care about you, your life doesn't matter to me. If you get hit by a bus tonight, I'm not going to care."
There is no abuse that goes on in my house. Now, if people believe that I'm waffling, then they can go do what they need to do.
Did you abuse your wife? Did you abuse her? Did you lay your hand on her?
And you know what? You can go the same place.
Then he storms off the set and tells all of the hosts to go themselves. People were stunned by his anger and reaction, and he wasn't very well received after that. Alright guys, at number 3 is Megan Fox. It is no surprise to anyone anymore that her career started to fizzle away after the Transformers incident when she publicly bashed the director. In 2009, Fox told Wonderland that the director of the film series, Michael Bay, is, I quote, like Napoleon, and he wants to create this insane, infamous madman reputation. He wants to be like Hitler on his sets, and he is. She went on to call him a nightmare to work with and said that he has no skills at all. As a result from her interview remarks, she was fired from Transformers Dark Side of the Moon and was only booking smaller roles and cameos. It wasn't until she later apologized to Bay that she was allowed back in the director's blockbuster movies, which is how she got to start in his Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle franchise. However, Bay told GQ it was actually Steven Spielberg who demanded that he hire Fox, and added that she may not have been the most professional actress on set. I thought Michael Bay was someone you don't want to be on bad terms with, but if the real issue is Steven Spielberg, that's even worse. In at number 2 is Charlie Sheen. He has a list of things that all play a factor on why his career came to an end. One of them was his ridiculous and totally inappropriate behavior during his interview with ABC when he confessed to still being on drugs. Actually, when he asked if he still uses drugs, his exact response was, "I am on a drug. It's called Charlie Sheen. It is not available. If you try it once, you will die. Your face will melt off and your children will weep over your exploded body." He went on to talk about sleeping with prostitutes and said that they are the best at what they do and has no problem admitting that part of his sex life. The entire interview is manic and whack, but no one could ever forget his famous line when asked about how he survived his huge drug binges. He responded with, "I have tiger blood in my veins." Since then, it's been an ongoing joke, along with his career. However, rumor has it that he has sobered up and it's possible he will be making a comeback. Taking the number 1 spot on our list is Tara Reid, only because it was so shocking. The sweet blonde shocked the world after showing up drunk to an interview, or so it appeared. Back in August 2018, she did an interview with Today Extra on Australia's Channel 9 to promote her movie The Last Sharknado. But throughout the interview, she was slurring her words, spoke very quietly, and often just trailed off. When you watch it, there's moments when you feel like she might actually fall asleep.
It really makes sense from the first one. It really does it makes a complete circle. And
after the interview, rumors started that she was drinking again, which was a problem from her past. She released a statement afterwards not giving any kind of reasoning for her weird behavior, but insisted that people have no reason to worry about her health. However, people were still very much worried. Starting us off at number 10 is Jay Station. The famous YouTuber caused one of the most recent scandals to hit the platform, and it all started when he announced online that his girlfriend had died tragically. He was dating Alexia Morano when he recorded a YouTube video of himself crying and mourning her death, saying that she was hit by a drunk driver. He even visited a memorial and acted out the entire thing. But the video was deleted a few days later and a new one was posted explaining that she was alive and he did it to bring followers to their new channel that they were apparently creating together. Alexia posted a response video saying she had nothing to do with it and shared that they aren't together because of his abusive behavior. He was eventually arrested and charged with assault. So yeah, safe to say his career is pretty destroyed after that. Should probably never fake someone's death. Sniping our number 9 spot is Justin Bieber. In 2014, the singer posted a photo on his Instagram of him standing in front of a Japanese shrine and captioned it, "Thank you for your blessings." Sounds innocent, right? Wrong. Because the photo was taken at Yasukuni Shrine, which is actually a very controversial place because it honors Japanese who were responsible for the death of thousands of Chinese during World War II. It's the center of a huge political debate among a lot of other Asian countries. Justin quickly realized his mistake when he saw the backlash from his post and removed it immediately. He followed up with an explanation saying, "While in Japan, I asked my driver to pull over, for which I saw a beautiful shrine. I was misled to think the shrines were only a place of prayer. To anyone I've offended, I am extremely sorry. I love you, China, and I love you, Japan." Sounds like an innocent thing. I don't know. Next up at number 8, we have Floyd Mayweather. The legendary boxer doesn't shy away from saying what he wants in public, so it's not all that surprising that he does the same on his Twitter account. Back in 2012, one of his tweets about Taiwanese American basketball player Jeremy Lin sparked a bit of controversy for its racial connotations. He tweeted out, "Jeremy Lin is a good player, but all the hype is because he is Asian. Black players do what he does every night and don't get the same praise." Some people may have agreed with him, while others were furious and began to call him a racist. Regardless though, he was unbothered by all the backlash and just continues to speak his mind online. Cruising into the number 7 spot is Danny Mathers. She's known for starring on TV series like Badass and The Bold and the Beautiful, but she's mainly known for her work as a Playboy model. But both sides to her career came to an end in 2016 after she posted an image on her Snapchat of a naked 70-year-old woman at a gym with the caption, "If I can't unsee this, then you can't either." The image immediately got backlash, and it actually resulted in her facing criminal charges. She was fired from a radio show and banned from LA fitness gyms all across the US. People were outraged that she would body shame someone like that, especially to an audience the size of hers. Later in 2017, she faced the court and pleaded no contest to a charge of invading the woman's privacy. She was fined $1,000 in order to spend a month of doing community service and removing graffiti all around Los Angeles. Coming in number 6 is Geraldo Rivera. Back in 2013, the TV star host wanted to make people laugh and decided to post a half-naked selfie on Twitter. In the picture, he's showing off his upper body and captioned it, "70 is the new 50. Erica and family are going to be so pissed, but at my age..." There was one thing he was right about, and that was people were pissed. His daughter was mortified and texted him the next day to take it down immediately. He could handle his embarrassed daughter, but his boss at Fox was even more pissed and his job was on the line because of it. Geraldo ended up taking the picture down the next day because Fox contacted him and told him that he had to delete it immediately. Like there were no options. I would literally be mortified if my father posted a topless photo. Halfway through at number 5 is Justine Sacco. This girl actually became famous from being the most hated person on the internet. There was a point when she was just a regular PR consultant with a couple hundred followers, but then she tweeted something that she thought was funny and it sparked a viral controversy. In 2013, before heading off on her trip to South Africa, she tweeted, "Going to Africa, hope I don't get AIDS. Just kidding, I'm white." A tech writer named Sam Biddle came across the tweet and retweeted it to the 15,000 followers that he had, and then it all just went downhill from there. Thousands of people were outraged, and the hashtag #HasJustineLandedYet started to trend worldwide. She ended up getting fired from her job, and she continued to say that it was just a joke. Not very funny, Justine. Not funny. Moving along, we're at number 4 with Amanda Bynes. Just by looking at her Twitter account, we could tell that she was struggling in her personal life. People adored her from the day she showed up on Nickelodeon, but it appeared that the famous lifestyle kind of caught up to her and her life became unstable. And the only way we knew this was because she announced everything on her Twitter account with personal details and full disclosure. She first announced her retirement from acting when she was just 24 years old, but then she announced that she had unretired herself. And from there, we saw a variety of tweets that ultimately caused her entire career and reputation to crumble. She insulted fellow celebrities, she claimed that she had a microchip inserted in her brain, she spoke about her private legal issues, and even accused her dad of being a sexual predator. Literally, this girl has had no filter. But still wishing her the best, because I really did love her. Taking over the 3rd spot is Ari Shaffir. The world was taken by storm recently when news broke that the NBA legend Kobe Bryant had died in a helicopter crash alongside his daughter and some friends. While the world was grieving and mourning the loss, comedian Ari Shaffir was sending out insensitive tweets and accused Kobe of being a rapist. He tweeted, "Kobe Bryant died 23 years too late today. He got away with rape because all the Hollywood liberals enjoy rooting for the Lakers more than they dislike rape. Big ups to the hero who forgot to gas up his chopper." He later posted that it was just a joke and that every time a beloved celebrity dies, he jokes about them like that and has been doing it for years. So apparently that makes it okay. His talent agency dropped him and the New York Comedy Club canceled all of his upcoming shows. And I think that is very much deserved. Winning the number 2 spot on our list is Ashton Kutcher. The actor doesn't usually cause too much drama online, but in 2011 he sparked a huge scandal after he defended someone who had dismissed sexual assault cases. What happened was, in 2011, Penn State's legendary coach Joe Paterno was fired after he neglected to address child molestation that allegedly took place in his locker room. It appeared that Ashton didn't have all the information before he tweeted out, "How do you fire Joe Pa? #insult, #no class. As a Hawkeye fan, I find it in poor taste." Fans didn't take kindly to it and they were furious that he would defend someone in Joe's position. But after finding out the full story, Ashton deleted the tweet and apologized, saying, "I feel awful about this error. As an advocate in the fight against child sexual exploitation, I could not be more remorseful for all involved in the Penn State case." Guys, I really do think this was an honest mistake. You know, just one of those things where you just spoke a little too soon. And at number 1 is someone you might not expect, the High School Musical legend, Vanessa Hudgens. The actress recently did an Instagram live stream where she shared her thoughts on the current pandemic our world is facing right now with COVID-19.
Everybody gets it. Like, yeah, people are gonna die. It's just terrible, but like, inevitable?
In her video, she said, I quote, "Even if everybody gets it, like, yeah, people are gonna die, which is terrible, but inevitable." She continued to laugh off her comments and appeared to be incredibly insensitive to it, and people were furious. Her comments started to circulate all over the internet, and after seeing the damage that she had caused on her career and reputation, she issued an apology. She tweeted out, "I'm so sorry for the way I have offended anyone and everyone who has seen the clip from my Instagram live yesterday. I realized my words were insensitive and not at all appropriate for the situation our country and the world are in right now." People, however, are not so forgiving, and they've actually gone as far as making TikTok videos poking fun at the fact that she just ruined her own career.
And at number 10, Crispin Glover. Things felt off about this interview almost as soon as Glover walked on stage. He was wearing a wig, skin-tight pinstripe pants, platform shoes, and huge glasses. Things only got worse once the two started talking, and it was clear something was very wrong with Glover. At one point, Glover even started reading out negative stories about himself that were written in LA Weekly. Then the tone shifted and Glover tried to challenge Letterman to an arm wrestling match to prove he's strong. Then he randomly kicked towards Letterman and almost hit him in the face. Letterman tried to defuse the situation and leave by saying, quote, "I have to check on the top 10 list." After that interview, Glover was written off as crazy. And at number 9, Charles Rocket. Charles Rocket was primed to be a breakout star of SNL in 1981. Fans of the show called him the perfect mix between Chevy Chase and Bill Murray, and his segments on the show were adored by everyone. However, his career completely imploded after he accidentally said the F word during the live broadcast. Every cast member at the time knew how important it was to never swear on TV, as it would get you fired. That's exactly what happened to Rocket. He went from being one of the best cast members of that time to basically nobody, and his career trickled off slowly after he was fired. And at number 8, Brian Williams. Brian Williams was one of the top news anchors ever, filling the coveted nightly news spot on NBC. He was even so well respected that he was frequently a guest on SNL and 30 Rock, but that all changed when it was exposed that Williams was a liar. The lie first started back in 2003, and he basically claimed that he was riding in a military helicopter that was forced to the ground while flying over Iraq. The plane was hit by an RPG and almost crashed. He kept repeating the story over and over for years after, even mentioning it on Late Night with David Letterman in 2013. But when the world found out that the whole story was a lie, everyone was shocked and felt they couldn't trust him again. He ended up getting a 6-month unpaid suspension from NBC, and his career took a massive hit. He never came back to his original role and was demoted to a smaller network. And at number 7, Abel Ferrara. Conan O'Brien recently revealed who his worst guest ever was, and it was none other than Abel Ferrara. Anybody familiar with the interview definitely knows why. O'Brien spoke about it on the Armchair Expert podcast, where he shared that Ferrara came on the show against his will and made it clear that he didn't want to be there. Conan went on to say that Ferrara even left the building right before the show was about to start, and Conan's staff had to track him down and drag him to the studio. O'Brien estimates the director was intoxicated throughout the discussion. This made the interview cringy and hard to watch, but it's now fan favorite. Conan called it, quote, compellivision, meaning it was so bad the viewer couldn't stop watching. It's so infamous William Dafoe even commented on it during his own interview with Conan. And at number 6, Sinead O'Connor. Sinead O'Connor was at the peak of her career when she was asked to perform on SNL, but the live performance didn't go as planned and her statements had serious repercussions. O'Connor performed on SNL in October of 1992, but SNL was probably wishing that she didn't, because O'Connor ended the performance by holding up a picture of Pope John Paul II, ripping it up, and stating, quote, fight the real enemy, obviously offending millions of people. The show quickly cut after they saw what happened, but the damage was already done, and tons of angry calls came flooding in. One audience member even tried to assault O'Connor and had to be removed by security. Not only was O'Connor banned from SNL, her career never really recovered. Halfway number 5, Ashley Simpson. This is one of those accidents that sadly ruined a career. While Ashley was on SNL to perform, she did one song that went off without a hitch, but her second song caused an infamous moment the internet will never forget. When the music started, the vocals for the track that she sang before started to play, making it incredibly clear that she was lip-syncing. Nobody knew what to do, so her band just kept playing while she danced around the stage and didn't sing a word. In the days that followed, the singer was attacked in the media for lip-syncing, which is especially bad on an all-live show. After the incident, she tried to set the record straight and explain why she lip-synced. She told MTV that she lost her voice because of acid reflux, and instead of canceling her appearance, she thought it was better for everyone if she just faked it. I'm sure she regrets it in hindsight. And at number 4, Prince Andrew. Following accusations that Prince Andrew had close ties to Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, the public demanded answers about why they had seen each other so often and why there was photo evidence of them together. Prince Andrew decided to do an interview with BBC discussing everything, and it was a complete train wreck. When asked if he was close with Epstein, he claimed, quote, it would be a stretch to say that he was ever close friends with Epstein, and claimed that he was only ever +1 to Ghislaine. However, there are records Andrew visited Epstein after his prison release in 2010. He also said that Epstein, quote, conducted himself in a manner unbecoming, to which the reporter responded, unbecoming? To which Andrew replied, yep, I'm sorry, I'm being polite. Lastly, Prince Andrew claimed he didn't sleep with Virginia Roberts because she said he was sweating, and apparently he had a condition after the war that caused him not to sweat. And at number 3, Jim Cramer. Jim Cramer is famous for being the kooky host of Mad Money, a show that talks about the stock market and even gives tips about which stocks to buy. But after the 2008 crash, everyone was wondering how much Cramer knew that he didn't tell to the public on his show. Shortly after the crash, Cramer appeared on The Daily Show with Jon Stewart and completely destroyed him. Stewart pushed Cramer to reveal that he knew what the banks were doing leading up to the crash, but didn't warn anyone. Stewart even aired a clip showing Cramer telling his audience that Bear Stearns was in good shape right before it tanked. After this, Cramer's reputation took a major hit and people couldn't trust him to give accurate information. And at number 2, Kelly Osbourne. Kelly Osbourne got tons of heat after she made an incredibly insensitive comment about Latinos on The View in 2015. While the panel was discussing Donald Trump's hateful comments about Latinos, Osbourne said, quote, if you kick every Latino out of this country, then who is going to be cleaning your toilet, Donald Trump? You know what I mean? After a shocked reaction from the crowd, she backtracked, adding, quote, I didn't mean it like that. Come on, I would never mean it like that. I'm not part of this argument. One of her hosts, Michelle Collins, tried to help her out by adding, quote, I think what you're trying to say is that Trump probably relies on the people that he's insulting. These comments have haunted Kelly ever since. And finally, number 1, Jennifer Garner. Of course, Jennifer Garner's career is doing just fine, but she was incredibly embarrassed while she was on The Late Show with Conan O'Brien. Jennifer was promoting a new movie she was in where she was a secret agent doing tons of stunts. The pair started talking about these stunts and Conan asked if she had snuck anywhere. Jennifer quickly replied that snuck is not a word and sneaked is the actual word to say, even calling out the fact that Conan had a degree from Harvard and seemingly didn't know that. However, after they came back from commercial break, Conan brought out the dictionary and proved that snuck is a word. It seems that sneaked is the proper term, however snuck has been popular since the 19th century and now both are recognized.
Starting off this countdown at number 10 is Amber Heard. The actress was married to iconic actor Johnny Depp, but filed for divorce in May 2016 and showed up to the Los Angeles courthouse with a bruised face. She claimed that he threw a cell phone at her face and trashed their apartment, and a restraining order was placed on him. Since then, it has been this big ongoing lawsuit between the two of them. She claims he is a monster who abused her and threatened to kill her, and he says that she's making all of it up to ruin his career and get a hefty paycheck. check. He filed for a $50 million defamation lawsuit against her, revealing surveillance video that proves her face was not bruised after their alleged fight that day when she went to court. Realistically, we don't know the truth, only they do, but fans have turned against Amber now since the evidence has shown that she made that story up. The two of them will hash it out in court starting August 3rd, 2020. Sliding to number 9 is Columbus Short. The actor took on the role of Harrison in the hit TV series Scandal from 2012 to 2014. His career was at its ultimate high during his years on the show, but it was taken from him when he ended up in a domestic violence dispute with his wife. It resulted with him being fired immediately, and his character was killed off the show. His wife claimed that he hit her during an argument, and he was sentenced to 36 months probation, and he had to register for domestic violence education because he was already on probation for a bar fight that happened earlier that year. He was also sentenced to 1 year in jail, but left after serving just 34 days due to overcrowding. Despite the fact that he got out from behind bars, his career has just never been the same. Talk about some luck. The jail being overcrowded so you get out? Cool. Next up in our number 8 spot is Eddie Murphy, one of Hollywood's best comedic actors for many years, but he found himself in a scandal that was not so funny. Back in 1997, a news story broke that Eddie was being arrested for being involved with a prostitution scandal. On May 2nd, 1997, he was pulled over by police at 4:45 a.m. after they saw a transsexual prostitute get inside. However, he claimed that he thought the person was having trouble and simply offered them a ride. I don't know if I believe that. The scandal blew over and he continued to have a successful career, but in 2015 it all came back to haunt him. Turns out just 1 year after the car incident, the prostitute was dead in this mysterious circumstance, and they actually started pinning Eddie as a possible suspect all those years later. News broke that Eddie's lawyer Marty Singer paid her $50,000 at the time to change her story for the tabloids. They even had the check and records to prove it. Obviously, he was never connected to the murder, but his career has never fully recovered. I'm actually surprised that he's still booking all the roles that he has, if I'm being honest, because like, I don't know. That's pretty sketchy. Moving on to number 7, we have Dane Cook. His career initially started with his talent in stand-up comedy, but it also headed into the direction of acting. We have to admit that it was kind of weird seeing him in our movies all of a sudden. Unfortunately, his movies were all a flop, no offense, but it wasn't the bad reviews that destroyed his career, it was actually some inappropriate jokes. Back in 2012, during one of his stand-up shows, he made jokes referring to the mass shooting that took place in Colorado. He later apologized for his comments, but people did not really accept his apology. And on top of all of that, he caused a lot of controversy for his relationship with a girl who is 26 years younger than he is. He was 47 years old at the time they started dating in 2017, and she was just 19 years old. So, what is he up to these days? In 2019, he launched his new stand-up tour called Tell It Like It Is, but it received a review that called it unusually awful. In spot number 6 is another actor and comedian. It is Jay Moore. Many people joke that they have to Google who he is, so let me save you the time. He is a stand-up comedian and known for his time on SNL and on TV series like Ghost Whisperer, Gary Unmarried, and Suburgatory. But both sides of his career took a hit in 2014 after he made some fat-shaming jokes against another female in the industry. The joke, if that's what you want to call it, was said when he was talking on his podcast and was talking about the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series Champions Awards, which he hosted. One of the presenters at the award show was Alyssa Milano, and he decided to talk about her body, saying that she had a gut and forgot to wear Spanx. She responded with a tweet, "So sorry you felt the need to publicly fat shame me. Be well and God bless. Please send my love to your beautiful wife." Fans did not react as well as she did, and we haven't really seen much of him ever since. I don't mind. Who are you to comment about my gut and if I wore Spanx or not? Halfway through at number 5, we have Shannon Doherty. She was everywhere in the 90s, taking lead roles in Beverly Hills 90210 and Charmed. And then she reprised her role for the 90210 reboot in 2019, but got fired after getting into a physical altercation on set. The argument actually got her in trouble with the law. She got into a fight with her co-star Jenny Garth, and she received a misdemeanor battery citation. For obvious reasons, she was fired from the show immediately, and only 1 month after the incident, she was involved in another court case where she was accused of owing the bank around $36,000. So it appeared that her reckless behavior wasn't just limited to her time on the TV series. She did appear in one episode on Riverdale after that, but things have been pretty quiet for her. Stealing number 4 spot on our countdown list is Mel Gibson. He was once one of the biggest stars in Hollywood and took home some of the biggest salaries. But a history of issues with alcohol eventually caught up to him. Everything kind of happened over the last 2 decades, if we're being honest, because he's just been involved in so many different scandals over the years, like getting arrested for a DUI, and that aggressive rant that was recorded at the time and leaked online showing that he was making sexist and offensive comments. And then 4 years later it happened again and another recording of him appeared online, which included racist and threatening remarks against his ex-wife. His talent agency immediately dropped him and he hasn't been on the screen in a few years. He has turned to behind the camera work instead, like directing, but it's safe to say his reputation will always be destroyed, even if he can salvage like some sort of career. We've made it to number 3 and we have James Franco. A few events in the last decade had his very successful career come crashing down. It all began in 2014 when screenshots leaked online showing that he was talking to an underage girl who he knew was underage, trying to rent them a hotel room for the night. Somehow his career managed to continue after the scandal faded out, but then everything was officially shut down in 2017 after he wore a Time's Up pin to the Golden Globes. Multiple women came forward making claims that his acting school sexually exploited them while they were students. In their suit they said that he had his students perform explicit sex scenes on camera in exchange for promised roles in his future films. In 2018 he was accused of sexual misconduct by 5 different women and is now facing a lawsuit after being sued by his 2 students. Earning the 2nd spot on our list is Kathy Griffin. The actress and comedian landed herself in a lot of trouble back in 2017 after posting an inappropriate picture online. She teamed up with famous photographer Tyler Shields to do a very controversial photo shoot of her holding a decapitated bloody head of Donald Trump. Of course it was just a mask, but the image was so real and graphic that sites actually had to blur it and block it from their sites. When she first posted it to Twitter and saw people's horrified reactions, she began to tweet out that she went too far and will remove the picture. But months later, she took her apology back and told the Rolling Stone, I quote, "I'm not sorry, I take the apology back 1000%. After that, she started to receive death threats and hate mail and was put on a no-fly list after undergoing 2 months of federal investigation. She later put out a TV movie called A President Show Documentary, The Fall of Donald Trump. So it looks like she just doesn't know when to call it quits. She is still going with that joke. Here we are number 1 and we have Bill Cosby. At one time he was known for his impressive work as an actor, but now he's just known for being the actor who had more than 50 people accuse him of sexual assault and misconduct. That has to be some kind of record, not one to brag about though. The allegations began back in 2014 when he was accused of sexual assault that took place in the mid-1960s. Since then, he's been accused by different women for rape, drug-facilitated sexual assault, sexual battery, child sexual abuse, and sexual misconduct. All of the alleged incidents spanned from 1965 to 2008. He battled the allegation in court for years, but on September 25th, 2018, he was sentenced to 3 to 10 years in state prison and fined $25,000 plus the cost of prosecution, which was $43,611. To the dime. He is currently serving a sentence at a state prison near Philadelphia, and apparently he just gets treated like any other prisoner. In other words, that means that no one cares that he was once a Hollywood actor. We're kicking off this list number 10 with Lana Del Rey. She's normally not the type to get involved in Hollywood drama, but in 2020 she actually caused some of it. She randomly posted a lengthy Instagram post where she called out other artists, saying that they are successful because they sing sexual lyrics and wear no clothes. In her post she called out Ariana Grande, Cardi B, Nicki Minaj, Doja Cat, and Beyonce. She literally just went after all of them. Fans started calling her out for putting down other female artists and writers, and other celebrities even defended the artist that she mentioned in her post. People took the post very seriously and started to call her racist since she named mostly black women in her caption. But Lana responded saying it had nothing to do with race. Things got so heated that Ariana even unfollowed her from Instagram, and then Lana did the same thing. I guess she will not be collabing with any of these ladies anytime soon. Which is funny because she actually just collabed not that long ago with Ariana Grande and Miley Cyrus for Don't Call Me Angel. What the heck? Moving on to number 9, we have J.K. Rowling. If you don't know who she is for some reason, she is the famous author behind the iconic Harry Potter series. It's not common for authors to make tabloid headlines for stirring the pot in Hollywood drama. But she lost a lot of respect from fans this year after she sent out some tweets that came across as transphobic. She was talking about gender and sex, and one of her tweets said, "If sex isn't real, there's no same-sex attraction. If sex isn't real, the lived reality of women globally is erased. I know and love trans people, but erasing the concept of sex removes the ability of many to meaningfully discuss their lives. It isn't hate to speak the truth." That was just one tweet, but she actually posted a very long blog about her views, and many people were in disagreement with her. Even Harry Potter himself, Daniel Radcliffe, made a public statement saying that he did not agree with her words. Cruising into number 8 is Khloe Kardashian. The Kardashian sister pissed off a lot of people recently when she posted an Instagram photo that was hella photoshopped. Probably the most intense Photoshop I have ever seen. Now, celebrities photoshopping their photos is not uncommon, but this really crossed the line, and we only realized it after someone pointed it out. Turns out that Khloe had filmed Keeping Up with the Kardashians the same day that she posted the photo, and the side-by-side comparison is actually insane. As insane as how that came out of my mouth. It literally looks like two completely different people. People were only mad because the overkill on the Photoshop was so unnecessary. She honestly looks beautiful in the interview in the episode. Fans also didn't like that she is setting such an unrealistic example of beauty standards for her millions of fans. I mean, honestly, with this whole Photoshop thing, when is it considered going too far? Like, this one was actually... it was insane. What app did you even use to do that? It's nuts. In spot number 7 is Hartley Sawyer. The Flash actor was fired in June after some of his old tweets resurfaced and contained racist references. The tweets came from before he joined the CW series, and in some of them he referenced sexual assault and also used racist and homophobic language. His Twitter account was quickly deleted, but the internet had a hold of these tweets and screenshots surfaced all over the web. Executive producer Eric Wallace released a statement saying, "Hartley Sawyer will not be returning for season 7 of The Flash. We do not tolerate derogatory remarks that target any race, ethnicity, national origin, gender, or sexual orientation." Hartley did issue an apology over Instagram where he said his words were unacceptable and that he regrets them deeply and is ashamed of himself. Sliding into number 6 is Abby Lee Miller. She is known as one of the toughest dance instructors on the show Dance Moms, but her teaching days are now over after she was accused for being racist. Despite the fact she overcame a battle with cancer and was ready to reboot the show, it was cancelled just a few months ago after some things came to light. Several former Dance Mom stars came forward with allegations saying that she was racist and never gave black choreographers on her show acknowledgement for their work. Not to mention, she would often dress up the girls in afros when they would do cultural dance pieces. Tons of claims were posted online of different racist things that apparently she said during her career, and she did issue an apology. She wrote, "I realize that racism can come not just from hate but also from ignorance. No matter the cause, it is harmful and it is my fault." However, her apology was not enough and Lifetime cancelled her show. Halfway through the list, number 5 is Dee Neejan. The MTV star was in the prime of her career starring on the reality competition show The Challenge when she made some racist comments online and lost everything, literally within a day. The show was actually airing when it happened, so it was really awkward when MTV had to release a statement saying that they were going to re-edit some scenes and cut her out as much as possible for the remainder of the season. It happened just a few months ago in June during the Black Lives Matter movement. She posted some tweets that seemed very insensitive to Black lives, and when people called her out, she responded with, "I don't know why some of you people think I'm anti-Black Lives Matter. I've been saying that since the day I lost my virginity." Very classy. MTV cut all ties with her and said they do not tolerate racism. Stealing our number 4 spot is Ellen DeGeneres. It's hard to say where her controversy all started because it all happened very fast. People started posting online saying that she was not as nice as people think she is, and the next thing we know, her entire show and company is being investigated for mistreatment in the workplace. There were even some sexual harassment allegations, and 2 of her executive producers got fired during the investigation. Things started to surface after famous makeup artist Nikki Tutorials went on her show for an interview and then exposed her for not being very polite. From there, more people started coming forward with claims, even one of her former bodyguards. All of the accusations are word of mouth, so we don't have definite answers, but the investigation is ongoing, and Ellen did issue an apology and said that she was sorry if she has hurt anyone in any way. She also just announced that her show will be returning soon and that she will be addressing everything on her show. I'm like anxious waiting for that. I would not want to go in front of the world and apologize. That'd be scary. In the third spot is Janelle Evans. She rose to fame through her journey with MTV on the show 16 and Pregnant, and then Teen Mom 2. Some people would say she was living the dream, gaining money and fame from an MTV show being her main career. But then she was fired from the show after she defended her husband, who was facing heat for saying homophobic remarks. Her husband was actually fired first, but she fought with MTV to have him back on the show, which they declined. Things got even worse when it was revealed that he actually had killed their family French bulldog after it allegedly tried to bite their daughter. MTV ended up announcing that they were cutting ties with her, and in 2020, she just started her own YouTube show on her personal YouTube channel where she basically just slanders MTV and everyone involved with the show. So she won't be working with MTV anytime soon. And that's kind of all she had. No offense. I've watched her for years, but duh. Taking over the number 2 spot is James Corden. The comedian and talk show host started getting attacked after people said he was worse than Ellen and claimed he isn't as nice as he appears to be on TV. When rumors started spreading that he was going to replace Ellen on her show, people were pissed and started posting reasons why he should not fill the position. If that wasn't enough, part of his own talk show got ridiculed after fans found out that one of his famous segments, Carpool Karaoke, was fake. A fan posted a video to Twitter saying, "Saw James Corden and Justin Bieber filming Carpool Karaoke, and this is why I have trust issues. He isn't even driving." People were furious and said that it completely ruins the segment now, but his producers responded saying that they have to do that sometimes for safety issues. They claim that he does actually drive the car sometimes. Don't be fooled. The whole point is that he's actually driving. Now it's like I'll never know if he's driving or not, and that's so annoying.
Hey, sometimes.
The car was being pulled, like literally, so he's like just sitting there being like, pretending to drive. Oh, I'm pissed. In the number 1 spot is Kanye West. This year has been a tough one for Kanye, and it seems like he is really struggling with his mental health, so it's hard to say where things went downhill. Some have claimed that it was the moment he said he was running for president. It was at his presidential campaign rally when he started having a meltdown and started saying erratic and bizarre things. Not long after that, he went online and started to claim that his wife Kim Kardashian was cheating on him and said that she and her family are all white supremacists. A lot of serious claims came through his tweets, and just a few days later he tweeted out an apology to her. His actions have cost him though, because the Ohio Supreme Court just announced that they ruled against him getting on the presidential ballot. This of course came after it was revealed that he had already spent $5 million self-funding his campaign so far. Should've just stuck to music.